All right. Hi, Cheryl Kirchbaum here with My Body, My Worship. And I am the instructor of a coaching course for the Classical Conversations Challenge B short story assignment. So, Challenge B is roughly 8th, ninth grade homeschool level, and students have an assignment during their second semester to write a short story. And a number of students join my online course, and I just coach them through the process. So I'm not necessarily reading them and reading their stories and giving feedback. There's actually too many students in the course to do that. But I am coaching them through the writing process and coaching them through a God-inspired writing process because God wants us to be successful. And then at the end of the semester, I hold a contest, and every year the students blow me away. They write so well. And I just want you to know that the students that are in this award-winning anthology are really good writers. They're going someplace, and they write better than a whole lot of adults who are self-publishing out in the world. And so I want to reward them for their effort and their skills and their time by publishing this anthology. And so this is the third anthology. This is the 2023 edition. We just started our 2024 course, and students will finish their stories at the end of April and submit to the contest in May. But this is the 2023 class. So here we go. We are going to feature each one of the stories in this award-winning anthology, which is titled One Step Forward, Superior Short Stories by Student Authors. All right, so here we go. The first story in the book is titled Through the Peephole by A. Ilis McCowan. It's an historical fiction story set in the time of 1865 in Washington, D.C. Now, what was going on in 1865 in Washington, D.C.? So the main character, Jordan Kendrick, along with Dr. Daniel McKinney, travel back in time to thwart the assassination of Abraham Lincoln, thereby preventing the collapse of American society in the year 3023. So we've got a whole Back to the Future thing going on here. However, there is a second time traveler known to be there also and determined to let history play itself out for his own personal gain. Now, one of the things that I loved about A. Ilis McCowan's story is her use of alliteration, onomatopoeia, and simile all together. So here it goes. Unusually chilly for this time of year in Navasota, Texas, the wind whistled, harshly whipping the trees and bushes to bend like a broken-hearted ballerina. The weather gave Jordan an ominous feeling that something far off, something had gone terribly wrong. And so I love how she brought together styles that she learned previously before the short story assignment through her homeschooling. It may have been from the Lost Tools of Writing or from Analogies for All of Us or from IEW, Institute for Excellent Writing. But she took those stylistic devices and she brought them together into this short story. And she just did a beautiful job. All right, the next story is by Alyssa Bennett, and she's here with me tonight. So here we go. Here is Alyssa Bennett. Hello, Alyssa. Alyssa wrote The Golden Pocket Watch. It's a fiction story. It's set in the Nordic town of Akriel. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Akriel, something along those lines. The main character lives with his grandfather so that he can learn watchmaking. But the main character wants to make a watch before the spring. Maybe a little pun on terms there. Now, Alyssa's use of shoes in this story really helps to bring the whole setting alive. So here are her own words. The first snow of the winter began to fall. They excitedly watched it speckle the grass, quickly coating the earth. Eric began to stomp on it with his leather boots, and soon a competition began. Who could make the best footprint? So well done, Alyssa. I thought it was really cool how you brought shoes into your story and helped to show the setting. So tell us, was there something about your assignment that you really enjoyed or something that surprised you?
I think I've always enjoyed writing and reading, so it was really fun to like spend a whole semester on a project writing my own story.
Mhm. Getting to take control and be the one who creates the adventure. Yeah, that's really awesome. This is a heartwarming story. Very heartwarming story. So thank you. Thank you for writing it. Thank you for sharing it with the world, and I hope people go and read your story. It's a lot of fun. All right. Thank you, Alyssa. Let's see here if I can figure out the technology here. There we go. All right. Our next story is by Arathia Polcarpio. And let me find her here and have her join us. Hello, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. All right, so Arathia's story is titled Unknown. It's a thrilling adventure. It's filled with mystery. It's set in an orphanage. So the main character is seeking to uncover the reasons behind her parents' malicious reputation. And she embarks on a journey that takes an unexpected turn as she accidentally teleports to the past. And within the bewildering ticks of time, she must unravel the secrets that lie dormant, waiting to be discovered. Now, one of the things that Arathia does very well, and this is a cool mystery, so this is just one little thing that she did, is she incorporated metaphor, which I have to say was very impressive because I have a hard time writing metaphors. And so to be able to include a metaphor in your story is really impressive. So here are her own words. She says, "A blank puzzle piece in the game of my life. When will I find that piece and connect it? I don't know. Yet that is the problem. I want to know. I deserve to. So as time continually moved on, I guess you could say I was kind of hoping that I could move on too, with that missing piece so unfamiliar." I thought you did a great job, Arathia. So is there something about this assignment that that you particularly enjoyed or learned or surprised you?
Well, in the beginning of this semester, I got really inspired by my sister, who was also a student author. So when I was writing my story, I was interested to explore the themes of family, deception, and the quest for identity.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's a good point. Quest for identity. We're all in one way or another on a quest for identity, and your story has a mystery in there as well. That was really cool. All right. Thank you so much. All right, let's see. Figuring out. Here we go. Okay, the next story we have here is by Brady Snider. Let's see. Brady's not able to join us tonight. It's called A Light for All Bears. And bears are the characters in this story. So it's an adventure or quest set in a place where bears are the most intelligent beings. The main character goes on a quest with his brother to obtain a plant that can save their dying father. But first, they must cross one of 4 great rivers and venture into another tribe's territory to steal an herb. The author's goal is to show that you should always treat others the way that you want to be treated. I found this to be a very sweet story with a really awesome Christian message. And Brady was able to incorporate the bear's feet or paws in such a way that helped to show the setting. And so here are his own words. Their paws were damp and wet from the melted snow and left paw prints in the grass. I love that. Has some alliteration in there too. Awesome. Awesome. All right. The next story is by Brennan Kennedy. Let's see. Brennan was not able to join us tonight. Brennan's story is called Treasure at Totem Rock. It's an adventure story. It's set in the Kentucky forest, and the characters have a map of cave systems and decided to explore these cave systems. Now, stumbling upon an old mine shaft, they were led to a journal with a map in it, and the map depicts hidden treasure. And the boys have to decide, what will they do with 400 pounds of gold? Now, Brennan also incorporated shoes into his story and also some onomatopoeia, which was fun. So here are his own words. The only sound was the snapping of branches and the crunching of leaves under their all-weather boots. Such good word choice. All right. Our next story is by Carly Sturm. Let's see, double checking. Nope, Carly was not able to join us tonight. Carly's story is called Lost to Loved, A Pony's Journey. It's a memoir through the eyes of a pony. So once again, animals is the main characters. It's set in rural Virginia. The main character's journey through life takes her into some of the darkest places in the human world. And she does a great job of describing the horse's feet. All right, so you pay attention. I might have to read this twice. You ready? Here we go. As I took my first steps, the fairy fingers I wore while in my mother's womb started to tear and fall off, revealing delicate hooves. As I took my first steps, the fairy fingers I wore while in my mother's womb started to tear and fall off, revealing delicate hooves. I love that. She even went and learned how the horse developed before the horse was born and incorporated that into her description of the horse's hooves. Yay! All right, the next one is by Corey Swigard. And Corey, I'm just double checking, but Corey was not able to join us tonight. Her story is called Searching at Sunset. And it's a mystery and it's an adventure of the Kansas Mounted Search Team and Rescue, who are out looking for a lost woman. And the story was very unique in that it switches perspectives from the horseback rider who's searching and the viewpoint of the lost woman herself. And I found this just a very heart-wrenching but heartwarming story all at the same time. And her ability to switch back and forth between the two perspectives, she did it so very, very well. All right, the next story is by Creed W. And Creed is here with us tonight. Hi, Creed.
Hello.
All right, so Creed's story is titled The Nail-Pierced Phantom. So I wanted to make sure I enunciated that very clearly. The Nail-Pierced Phantom. It's historical fiction set in the time of Jesus in Israel. The main character wants to find Jesus to ask if he may heal his sister, but his father won't let him go. This is a wonderful story of a beautiful Christian message and the healing power of Jesus. Absolutely wonderful. And he too has a great description of shoes. So here are his actual words. Dreading the conversation he would soon have with his father, Ehud dragged his dusty, sandal-clad feet. They ached from the blisters formed by the continual labor necessary to run a vineyard. He noticed the leather was growing thin in places, but buying new sandals was the least of his worries. Very well done. So, Creed, anything that kind of surprised you about this assignment, or got you excited about the assignment? What are your thoughts?
It's funny you mentioned shoes. I was going to say I enjoyed the assignment of incorporating shoes into the story. So that was
it was a challenge that you enjoyed.
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so the assignment from the guide for classical conversations doesn't say anything about shoes. But if you hang out with me, I talk about how to include descriptions of shoes or feet, or the animal's feet, so horses' hooves, into the story, because it really brings the story alive, brings the characters alive, and often helps you understand the setting much better as well. And so that was a Mrs. Critchbaum thing. I'm glad you enjoyed the challenge, Creed. All right, now, Creed, my assignment to you is to go off and write more God-glorifying stories, because this was a historical fiction story. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Next up is a story by Elizabeth Atkinson. Let's see. Let me find. Oh, no, she's not here tonight. Okay. All right. So Elizabeth's story is titled The Unanswered Question. It's a time travel historical fiction story. Eden loved to visit her great-grandparents, and unfortunately, her Nana dies. But she leaves Eden her photo album. And mysteriously, Eden finds herself time traveling through the album to the 1960s, when she realizes that she is in the midst of Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech. She remembers that Nana was there, and then she looks for her. This is a sweet, multi-generational story with a little bit of a mystery to it. And Elizabeth does a really good job with alliteration. It adds to her description of the setting. So here are her own words. As we traveled, I noticed many things, such as hearing singing of the swallows, seeing the trees bulging with beautiful blossoms, and feeling the stupendous sun shining down, warming and brightening up everything it touched, including me. Sweet. All right. Our next story is by Eugene. And quick look through my list. No, Eugene wasn't able to join us tonight, but he wrote a story titled Fear Room. So Fear Room is mystery, but it has a Christian message. And I have to say, a plot twist that I rather enjoyed. All right, so he included simile in his story. So here are his own words. Another peculiar feature the building possessed were the human-sized hamster tubes, which wound themselves in and out of the building's stone walls like snakes winding slowly up a tree. I like that. That was very well done. All right, our next story is by Faith Stevenson. Let me find her here. She's going to join us. Hi, Faith.
Hi.
So glad you were able to be here tonight. Faith's story is called The Last Piece. It's an adventure, and it's set in a spring meadow. The main character is trapped in a large hole while trying to help a baby wolf cub. And the main character's sister must help her so that they can save the baby wolf cub. And the author's goal is to portray perseverance, loyalty, and bravery. And I just have to say, this has a really sweet sister relationship in there that I particularly enjoyed. All right, so Faith used shoes to help show the setting. So here are her own words. The ground felt soft, and soft earth squished beneath her feet, making the bottoms of her new shoes dirty. I love that. It's great. All right, so Faith, tell us your adventure through the spring semester short story assignment. What are your thoughts?
I really enjoyed the assignment, and I actually based the sister relationship off me and my sister. So I really enjoyed getting to portray that and getting this awesome opportunity to become a published author. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome. Happy to do it. As I said, you guys blow me away every year. Like the first time that I offered this class in 2021, I just thought I was going to coach students through. And then I found out that a number of students wrote good stories. And so it's like, okay, well, I know how to publish books. We can have a contest. And every year you guys blow me away. And you're no exception. Good job, Faith.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Our next story is by Jesse. All right, Jesse. So I'm a little afraid that I'm going to mispronounce your last name. So would you pronounce it for us, please?
Sure. It's Sales.
Sales. Okay. See, I was going someplace else. I was thinking like solace. So I'm glad you corrected me. All right. So Jesse wrote a story called The Catch. It's an adventure story. It's set in the present time Texas. The main character plays baseball to have fun, win games, and get better, but he has trouble catching fly balls. All right, now, Jesse very effectively used very short sentences. Now, Jesse, did you take IEW, Institute for Excellence in Writing?
I did for 3 years in Essentials.
Yeah. And so this is one of the things that they learned from Mr. Padua is to write very short sentences, which is a really effective way to wake up your reader, kind of catch them off guard and kind of, oh yeah, I'm paying attention. That's unusual. We had a whole bunch of long sentences and all of a sudden we have very short sentences. So here are Jesse's very own words. He says, game over, the victory stolen, and Sam had cost his team the game. Very well done. All right, so Jesse, tell us a little about your adventure through this short story assignment.
So I really enjoyed IAW and also the persuasive essays in the first few years of Challenge. But then whenever we were doing the creative short stories, I was a little taken aback because I wasn't used to just writing on my own. But once I got started and picked a topic, it got easier and fun.
Yeah. So you must have chosen something that you know. I'm guessing you know a little something about baseball.
Yep, I like baseball pretty much.
Yeah. So, and this is the deal. Authors write about things that they know. So like Call of the Wild, Jack London, he knows about being in the Alaska Yukon Gold Rush in the early 1900s. And, and he knows all about the dogs. So that's what he wrote about. So, and it's much more fun, right?
Yep.
All right. Okay, go off, write more fun stuff.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, our next story is by Libra S, and I'm guessing on pronunciation there too. Here she is, though. You can correct me. How
Hi.
do you pronounce it?
It's Libra S.
All right, I'm going to leave that to you. All right, so Lierba wrote Life After Time. It's an action-packed time travel adventure set in present-day Florida, and the main character and her best friend follow clues to a lighthouse where they discover a time machine. And that helps them to unravel the mysteries of the past, but a few problems arise when they mess with time. So yes, all sorts of surprises in this story. I felt when I was reading your story, I felt like I was actually on the beach in Florida with this lighthouse. So you did a great job. I was impressed.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You also use simile, alliteration, and onomatopoeia all together in one sentence. All right. So here are your own words. As she made her way to Spencer's house, a sudden prickly feeling slithered like a snake up her spine. It's a good job.
Thank you.
All right. So tell us about your adventure through this short story assignment.
Yes, of course. So I was always a huge fan of writing. I've been writing stories since I was a little kid. And I was super excited for this assignment, actually. And I was a little lost as to where to start, though. And so that's when my mom found you. And honestly, you gave such clear step-by-step instructions. It made it so easy in order to write my story. And I really loved it. So thank you. And I think the biggest challenge I probably faced while I was writing this story was the ending. And I didn't want something too predictable, but I was, I just landed on going with something unexpected. So I really loved writing this. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah. We've had 2 weeks so far, the 2024 class, and it's actually my favorite time of the year, right at the beginning when everybody's coming up with ideas, because you can just see everybody get all excited, like, oh, I can write about something fun. Oh, I can write about something I like. Like, this isn't you're making me write another essay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So happy to help. Writing process is most definitely my thing. And so I'm so happy to be able to help you out and help a whole bunch of Christian authors go out and change the world. Very happy to do that.
Yeah. So thank you.
So glad that you joined the class, and keep writing.
All
right. All right. All right. Our next story is by Logan. Let me find Logan here. Here is. All right. Hi, Logan.
Hello.
All right. Logan Sonnenfeld wrote The History of Magic. It's fantasy. It's set in modern time on Earth, and the main character is pursuing his father's killer so that he can feel complete. But there's always a but. The enemy is stronger than he. And your stated goal is to show what happens when somebody is out for revenge, but also show the lightness and darkness against each other. I thought you did very well with that. Okay, now Logan did a stylistic device that I don't think that you knew about from IEW or LTW. It's called a syndeton. And a syndeton is eliminating a coordinating conjunction, usually and. So these are his own words. While most storms feel like nature showing its darker half, this storm felt like a storm with a purpose, a vengeance, a yearning. So normally when we write a list of 3 things, we put an and or an or, something like that in there. But we can choose to purposely eliminate that coordinating conjunction. And the fancy dancy word for that is a syndeton. And Abraham Lincoln has very famous use of a syndeton when he says that we are a country of the people, by the people, for the people. And Logan, you did that very well. I was impressed. All right, so Logan, tell us about your adventure through this writing assignment. Oh, you're muted for some reason, dude. There we go.
When I was in Challenge B, I was really looking forward to this writing assignment. And then I started kind of getting more into mock trial, and I realized that this writing assignment wasn't going to be nearly as easy as I thought it was, and so I was a little scared on how the end result was going to come out. But I'm really proud of my story now. And yeah, like you said, I think what I was trying to show was just like revenge and justice, and how it doesn't always complete you to get that goal that you've always been striving towards.
Yeah. And you know what? You brought up just how challenging the second semester is for Challenge B. So let me find my list of all the things that you do. In the second semester of Challenge B, you're always doing math. So this is the way I wrote it. Mulling over math, learning learning Latin, defeating Darwinism, perusing the periodic table, turning out logic trees, and training for mock trial. And then in addition, you read 25. 25. Did you know that you read 25 short stories second semester by famous authors like Hans Christian Andersen, Anton Chekhov, Oscar Wilde, Leo Tolstoy, Rudyard Kipling, F. Scott Fitzgerald, Henry Van Dyke, James Joyce, Charles Dickens, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, Jack London, Nathaniel Hawthorne, Sarah Orne Jewett, Ambrose Bierce, O. Henry, Henry Guy de, oh, I cannot pronounce his name because I am so not French. Maupassant, I'm going to guess. G.K. Chesterton, Edgar Allan Poe, Mark Twain, Beatrice Harden, Matteo Bandello, Fyodor, oh, I'm not going to get this one right either, Dostoevsky, and Alphonse Daudet. 25 stories you guys read. And prepared for mock trial, which meant that you started with a police report and had to figure out how to prosecute somebody and then flip sides and how to defend somebody. You guys did a lot of work all in one semester and wrote a short story. And you should be very proud of yourselves because you did really well.
Thank you so much.
All right. Okay, so our next story is by Lucy K. Hewlett. Let me see. Fine. There she is. Hi, Lucy.
Hi.
All right, so Lucy wrote a story called Paragon and Virtue. It's a fantasy adventure set in a medieval Victorian type era. The main character, Opal, escapes a kidnapping by helping an unexpected friend who finds himself also hunted. So you have a number of unexpected twists and turns in this story.
Yeah.
And you and because you did, you really kept my attention. So you did very well. Thank you. You also used alliteration really well. So here are your own words. She gathered a still warm slice of pie, an apple, and a big bulky borrowed book from her family's stuffed bookshelf. I love that. Making me feel all nice and cozy, especially in this cool, wintry January weather. All right. So tell us about your adventure through this short story assignment.
I was really excited to get started writing my short story because previously, like a couple years ago, I hated words. I hated IEW, and I did not like writing or reading at all. But then my friend got me into a book series, and I started to love reading and writing. So I was really excited to write my own story, and I really loved going through it. So.
Well, that worked out really well.
Yeah.
Sounds like you, we writers like to say, found your voice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Awesome. Well, keep going. Keep going. All right. Don't stop.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right. Our next story is by Micah Bowen. And where'd he go? There he is. I knew you were there. Hey, Micah, how you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good. All right. So Micah wrote a story titled The Message. It's a mystery in which a lone dragon fanatic finds his greatest love only to realize it's his independence that causes him to lose his dream. I thought you had a surprise ending and a really good message all at the same time. And that really impressed me. All right. You also incorporated shoes into your story in a way that I liked. You said, since puddles littered the ground, Matthew had more to navigate around as he tried his hardest not to scuff up his brand new white Nike tennis shoes. So good job. All right. So tell us about your adventure through the short story assignment.
Well, I had written in IEW all the way through Essentials and went through Challenge A and Challenge B, writing persuasive essays. And all during this time, I wrote a sequel to one of my favorite book series, which just happens to be about dragons. So when I got the news that I got to write my own short story, I thought it was really cool because now I'd be able to talk about what I love to talk about, and to be able to write from the way I like to write, instead of just telling people how I feel about a certain subject.
Right. Yeah. It really is different to switch from essay writing to writing stories, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed the assignment. I thought you did a great job, and I hope you go out and write even more.
Thank you. I will.
And we need more dragon stories that are fun and wholesome. And I just met an artist who draws dragons really well, so I can connect you up.
That's a good idea.
All right. Thanks for joining us, Micah. All right. The next story is by Olive Douglas, and I'm just double checking. I don't think she's with us tonight. No, she is not. Okay. So Olive Douglas. All right. So she took the whole shoe thing a little too far, but it was fun. All right. So she wrote a story called The Olympian Quest, and it's Greek mythology. And, Nike is not just the name of a shoe, it's the name of a Greek god. And so she wrote about the main character on a quest to earn his Nikes, and encounters Nike and all sorts of other Greek gods in the process. And so she wrote a great adventure story, a quest, actually, a great quest story. All right, our next one is by Sophia, and all right, I'll make sure. I'm afraid I'm going to say your last name wrong. So would you say it for me, please? You'll have to find that button, though, to take you off of mute. Let's see. Oh, I think I can do it. Here we go. Oh, I can't. Oh, your mic's not connected. Bummer. All right. So Sophia wrote Journey to the Forgotten Kingdom. It's an adventure. It's set in the past in the fantasy kingdom of Murgan. Not sure I'm pronouncing that correctly either. Matter of fact, I don't think I can pronounce most of the made-up locations in this story. The main character is in a race against a king's advisor who turned evil. And the king's advisor, they're on a quest to find this magical ring, and it's a race who can find it first. And of course, the evil advisor wants to take over the kingdom. Let's see, get over there. Yep. All right. So it's a race, it's a quest and a race at the same time. Now, Sophia used polysyndeton. So instead of asyndeton, she used polysyndeton. And that's when you use too many coordinating conjunctions, usually and. Throw in extra ones. So here are her own words. It had overgrown forests and treacherous cliffs and barren wastelands. I love that. It's like an extra emphasis and shows how all three of these things are important and equal. Overgrown forests and treacherous cliffs and barren wastelands. So I thought that was really awesome. All right. So Sophia, were you able to, let's see if you were able to get your microphone connected. Oh, I think you're there. Tell us about your adventure through this assignment.
Can you hear me? I'm having technical difficulties.
We can hear you. Go ahead.
I can't hear anything that you're saying, so I don't understand. Yeah, sorry, guys.
All right. Well, we tried. Technology is wonderful in that we are from I'm on the East Coast. We've got somebody in Hawaii and everything in between. And so it's really cool that we can do this. But then, of course, technology has its own challenges as well. All right. But great job, Sophia. Go write more stories. All right. Our next story, the last one in our list, but not the least by any means, is by Titus Shck. And I think Titus is with us. Let me find him here. There he is. All right. Hey, Titus, how you doing?
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. All right. So you wrote an interesting story. It's titled Summer Threat to the Air of Mysteries. So here's the description. It's a mystery. It's a quest. It's an adventure. It's set in the English countryside during the late Victorian era. The main character goes on a surprise family trip to his grandparents' countryside estate because there's an unknown threat. And so these two characters, Arthur and Emma, begin investigating to try to find who is on the other side of the threats. But the threats keep escalating. And there's this phantom, and he just won't back down. And then when the phantom takes it too far, Arthur decides to take a stand. And I just have to say, there are so many twists and turns in this mystery. And then a surprise ending that is just, well, it's cool. I'll leave it at that. It's cool. I don't want to give away anything. So we'll leave it at that. It's really cool. You should read it. All right. So Titus, you also incorporated shoes into your story. And when you did it, you also added alliteration. So here are your own words. He had large, clean, and shiny black shoes that clip-clopped on the cobblestone road as the men turned into a narrow alleyway. I love that because you can hear it clip-clop. It's onomatopoeia too, really. All right, so Titus, tell us about your adventure through this short story assignment.
Well, originally, when I had started, when I heard that I was getting the assignment, I was really excited. I was like, oh, I get to write my own story. And in my head, I thought short story, but then I realized short story isn't a novel. So I had to kind of cut back. And then when I did, I realized I had more room for more details and more aspects of the characters' personalities. So I think that's one of the reasons why there's more twists and turns, is because I was like, ooh, I can go here, ooh, I can do this. So kind of throwing a little bit of this and that to make it something really cool, with a good ending. I kind of surprised myself by the ending.
So it sounds like you enjoyed being creative.
Very much so, yes.
Good. Awesome. 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 All right. Now I'm going to, I don't know that I can get everybody up here on the screen at the same time, but I'm going to try. So here we go. We're going to start adding people in. Oh, almost. All right. Well, okay. All of you are going to have to represent all 19 award-winning authors here. Now, as you know, we started and ended every class the same way. And just a reminder that we're all Christians, and we are so grateful to the Lord for all that he's taught us, all that he continues to teach us, whether it's through our studies or through life experiences. We're thankful for the gifts that he has given us to be able to write stories, wholesome stories, adventurous stories, wholesome yet fun stories. And it's really all to his glory. And so we proudly end this stream like we ended every one of our classes. All right. Are you ready, class? Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
I am an author, and I have the Holy Spirit.
Exactly. We are all authors. We all have the Holy Spirit advantage, and it's all to his glory. So we thank you for joining us so that you can see this anthology of award-winning short stories and meet a whole bunch of the authors, the award-winning authors who have the Holy Spirit advantage. Have a good night.